everybody. Welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Kristi Brower here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. The Halloween decor is in full swing at my
Ooh,
house.
nice. I'm impressed. I have done nothing
Oh,
toward
Lord.
Halloween decor. Not one thing.
Y'all are going to have to come visit so that, this doesn't all go to waste. We work really kind of crazy hard to decorate for Halloween, considering that we do not get trick or treaters on our street.
Well, it's just all for you at this point,
And
right?
now we have no kids or their friends to even enjoy it. So, yeah, there'll have to be a Halloween party at my house. But
Well, I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking yes.
yeah,
Welcome, Mouth of the South and Jacqueline. This
hello.
is our Wednesday night case updates live stream. So if you are with
Yeah.
us live, you can join us on Facebook or in on YouTube, and you can
Hmm.
participate in the live stream. If you're listening to this after the fact, welcome as well. We like having you here however you can be here.
Absolutely. And
And
hi to
and
RJ and Jessica and Donna and Renee and Bianca.
yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well,
Yeah.
this is our case update show. And so we like to update cases that we are currently covering and following.
Hmm.
And, we do have some things happening.
Hmm.
I'm just going to say a name. You probably all are going to know what the hell I'm talking about. But Dog the Bounty Hunter. You
I'm
guys.
ill.
Okay. We are not fans. I'm sorry if you are. We have personal reasons for being not fans.
Hmm.
However, Dog the Bounty Hunter has inserted himself into the search for Brian
Hmm.
Laundrie. And this is, of course, in the murder of, Gabby Petito, who was found in Grand Teton National Park a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago. And, anyway, we've been covering this pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So now y'all know who Dog the Bounty Hunter is. Probably he had a TV show for a long time. Um, you know, Picking up people on the run in Hawaii.
Hmm.
Well, he very
Well,
convenient.
not
Hmm.
always in Hawaii, but
Right.
yes,
He was based in
as of
Hawaii, and
late,
then
yeah.
yeah. Um. So conveniently, this was so convenient. How could this be? He has married his sixth wife,
Hmm.
and they were on their honeymoon in Florida. Because if you live in Hawaii, you definitely want to go on a honeymoon to Florida, right? At the time that this was all going down, so convenient. He was able to stick his nose right in to the search for Brian Laundrie.
Oh,
Hi, Jarvie. I know it is his job, and that is
it
not why we
is.
dislike him, but we can't go into that.
No, we dislike him
So
because of the actual person that he is, not on
yes,
the camera that we
no,
have experience with. But that's okay.
in real life.
If you were to find Brian, fine,
I
right?
mean,
Fine.
I don't care who finds him.
Yeah.
I really don't.
No,
Um,
just let's find him.
and frankly, if he finds them, I told Katie this. I'm going to say something naughty, but I said earlier, if Dog finds Brian Laundrie, then the FBI needs kicked in the dick, and
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, because
Yeah.
come on. So right
Yeah.
now, there is a search being done at Fort DeSoto. Um, Guys, I've never been to Florida. I don't know. What I know is that it's a park, and in this area there are some islands.
Hmm.
And Dog is pretty sure that Brian is hiding out on one of those islands. And they are searching it with um, canine tracking dogs right now.
Hmm.
In the
Well,
meantime, the
apparently they've
FBI
just
has
come
been
in
at the
for the
Carlton
night.
Reserve all day. So I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
it's such a weird thing because the FBI seems very sure that he's at Carlton, and yet that could be a smokescreen too, you know. But
It could. They were there with a helicopter. They were there with boats in the lakes
if it's
today.
a smokescreen, it's a damn expensive one, you know, because
That's
the
yeah.
amount of money they have spent searching Carlton. So Dog and his team apparently have come in for the night, according to his daughter, who has
Yeah.
been basically live tweeting the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I'm confused and concerned about, I guess, is
Yeah.
why? Why? And is that the smoke screen? Because why would we be live tweeting where we think the fugitive is?
Right. I know. I don't get it. Here's a quote from this is from Brian Enton's Twitter, and Brian Enton is the really kind of the main reporter we've been keeping an eye on there in Florida
Hmm.
about this case.
Well,
And
he
he
basically
says,
has been camped out at the Laundrie's house now for 2 weeks.
"Oh yeah, totally,
He's there
and
or at Carlton every day,
all the time,
all day.
yeah." He said, "Just talk to Dog's daughter, Lissa. We are pretty sure," and she says, "We are pretty sure that he is stashed out on those islands and mostly active after the parks are closed and everyone goes home." She says they have found personal items believed to be Laundrie's. So I don't know. I don't know what this means. Oh, Jacqueline, I live in Pinellas County, Florida. Yay. I don't think he is on any of the islands by Fort DeSoto. They are dry islands and it is still hot here. Okay, good to know. I really
Interesting to know.
appreciate that because I don't know anything about the terrain out there or what we're looking at.
No.
They think they found some personal items that belong to him. I don't know. I mean, is there
Yeah.
an underground cave system he is in? I mean, like how
Yeah.
they're finding personal items they think are his. I don't know. I just
I
don't
don't
know.
know what to say. I hope they find him. That's all. I really,
I
really
do
hope
too.
that they find him and
I
that
just want someone to find him.
yes. Well, right.
Whoever,
Who cares who?
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
At
whole
this
dog thing
point,
just cracks me up though because it's like, oh, so conveniently we were already here in Florida. It's like, come on, this is
right.
so
Well,
for the attention. Give me a
if this
break.
case couldn't get more, made for TV, I mean, this case is in a head-to-head battle to see which one of them can be more made for TV, this one or Daybell Vallow.
Oh my gosh, they're both going to be movies. They are.
Hmm. There
Um,
was a phone purchase in Fort DeSoto. His parents say
yeah,
that they did buy him that phone. Their attorney corroborated that. They said that is the phone that was left home.
yeah.
So where's his old
So
phone?
yeah, where is his old phone? And where is Gabby's old phone? Destroyed, maybe. You know,
Yeah,
dumped off a bridge somewhere.
his old phone is the one that would have probably most of the evidence on it that is pertinent. But
Yeah,
yeah, supposedly that's the phone that got left home. And if you guys remember, way back, I say way back because it feels like this has been going on forever, but it's been 2 weeks.
yeah.
Way back when the FBI came to Laundrie's house, like, I don't even know if they'd found Gabby yet. I don't think they had, and
They
everybody was
hadn't.
camped
No,
out
that was
there, and they
prior.
had just announced that his parents had the FBI come, and the reason the FBI was there, as it turned out, was because they were telling them that they hadn't seen him in days, and they were worried about his safety. Blah blah blah. And there was a clip of the FBI going out to that Mustang and looking around it, and they pulled out a phone
They
and put it
did.
in their pocket and walked in the house with it. And we
Yeah,
believe that is the phone that was bought in Fort DeSoto, or at least
yeah.
that's what they're saying. Yeah,
So that phone's not with him. So
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Donna says, I still believe his parents and lawyer knows where he's at. This is like a circus show. It definitely is. And I agree.
It is. And, as much as, we covered this case a lot when it was breaking, and we'll continue to cover this case, we're not going to cover it minute by minute
And
because
we're,
we have so many other cases to cover.
yes, we do. Yeah. There we go. Sorry. We got lost there for a moment, but we are
Oh,
back.
we froze
Yeah.
up.
Right. Bianca says, I just think it's funny that he chose to help out in the most famous case of the year. Why couldn't he help out the numerous other cases? Right?
Well,
Right.
and
Why
part of me
not
goes,
find
well,
some
maybe.
actual missing people that are missing, not running
Right.
missing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I would like to say, well, maybe he has, except for that this is just, it's too grandiose. It's too grandiose for
It
me.
is. I'm sure that if he had, we would have known.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure that we would have known.
Yeah.
So that's what we know there, which is a whole lot of nothing. There's a whole, oh my gosh, you guys, the rumor mills
Mm,
going around on the internet right now
mm.
are insane. And we're trying to stick with what are fact things that are factual and not
Hmm.
breaking out into all the insanity because there is so much right now.
Oh, yikes. However, I didn't watch the service for Gabby, but I did watch a couple of clips of it. Her parents and step parents, and let's just call them all parents because that's what they all consider themselves to be to her. Man, they're
Right.
wonderful people. They have been so gracious in such a horrific time. I love that they all went and got her Let It Be tattoo. You
Yes.
know, they
Very sweet.
are going to be able to, in their own healing, use some ways to heal. Yes, there's a bunch of money on Brian. Uh, a whole bunch of different agencies and people have put money into the pot, and yeah, it's over $100,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jacqueline said she thinks 170,000. Yeah, it's something huge.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, if he finds him, he'll there will be a big payday.
There was another guy found dead not far from where Gabby was found. It wasn't related. He was, I believe he was a teacher, wasn't he? That was just
Yeah.
here hiking. People
And he
succumb.
actually oh what?
Oh, people succumb in to the elements here every year. You know.
It people get lost out there a lot, but actually so he was found at the foot of the Teton Pass, which is easily 30, maybe more miles from where Gabby was found. Like they the news made it sound like they were found near each other. They really weren't.
Not
He
as far as that area is concerned. Yeah.
no, no. So it wasn't connected. And you guys, there are always missing people in that area.
Mhm.
Always. Summer, winter, you name it, someone is missing.
Well, just in the last few weeks, there have been three bodies found in Yellowstone,
Yeah,
which is just down the road from Grand Teton National Forest.
right.
We understood two suicides and one accidental, and there's still a
Yes.
missing person there too, from what looked
Yeah.
like maybe a canoe accident. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there was a canoeing accident. Always in the winter time, there's avalanche victims. The
Oof.
avalanche comes out around there all the time because
Hmm.
people just will not stay out of that area, even though the Teton Pass is a huge avalanche risk
Hmm.
all year. And people are always like, "Do not go snow machining out there. You're going to get killed." And you know what? They do,
Oh, they do every
unfortunately.
year. Makes
Yeah.
you think twice about going camping there. Oh, agreed.
Right. I mean, if you go and you stay in the places that are designated, but when you get out into the backcountry and places like this, and our problems with bears this year have been major. So, yeah, it's not wise.
No,
But yeah, I
there's
saw an article that said that he was found near where Gabby Petito was found. No, he wasn't.
not
He was found
really.
on
No.
Gabby Petito.
I mean, in the
He
same
wasn't even in Grand Teton National Park, I don't think.
no. Well, maybe on the edge of it, maybe,
Possibly. I'm not sure
but
where the boundary is exactly. But yeah, not
yeah.
not close enough. It's not related. Yeah.
However, I have to tell you guys, we were in Yellowstone over the weekend, and I saw
Mhm.
the most hilarious thing I have ever seen. I don't know if it's okay. I don't know if I've seen some pretty funny shit, but I saw the craziest thing I've ever seen. I really have to share. So elk right now are in rut, in heat.
Mhm.
And did I already tell you this story
You
about
told
the
me.
elk? Okay.
You told me,
So
but I don't think you've told our
I don't think
listeners.
I told these guys. Okay, so there's a little town in Yellowstone Park called Mammoth Hot Springs, and there's a few businesses. There's like a couple of eateries and a gas station and a hotel, but there's some residential area too, and that people who work at the park live. And then there's quite a few government buildings there, like Park Service and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's sort of the
For
capital
whatever
of the park,
reason,
kinda.
yeah, and for whatever reason, the elk absolutely love that town. And every time
Mhm.
you go, there's just elk laying on people's lawns and up against buildings and wandering down the street. And they're way used to people, but you still stay the hell away from them because elk can be super dangerous.
They're
Well, this is,
huge animals.
yes, and this is a really hard time of year in Mammoth because the elk are in rut. And so the bulls are super dangerous right now. And they are herding up their herd of cows. And So when we went through there on Friday, there was an enormous bull up against one of the Forest Service buildings. And there was a park ranger standing there with a bullhorn, just ready to yell at people, get the hell away, because people run right up to him to take a picture. And you guys,
Oh
he had
yeah.
an enormous rack. Anyway, he was really cool. So we, we went into Montana and had our fun weekend and came back. And on our way back through Mammoth, one of those Forest Service buildings, the whole lawn is absolutely packed with cows, with cow elk. I mean, there
Yeah.
was like 30 head, a lot. And so we're rolling through, and I see this little spike bull come out, which is, he's like a 2-year old. So he's not very big. He barely has a rack yet. And he comes prancing through there like he's the coolest guy in school. And I said, "Oh," I said, "Could those be? Is that his harem?" And Scott said, "Oh, hell no." He goes, there has to be a bigger bull around here. Well, just then, you guys, this was like, it couldn't have been scripted better. Or that big bull comes tearing around the corner of the building. So we saw him before the spike bull saw him. And Scott and I were both like, "Oh no." And he's running at him. The little bull turns and looks at him, and you could just see the "oh shit" look on his face. And he starts running. He ran right in front of our car. And I'm like, "Oh my God, if they get in
Ooh.
a fight right here, they will destroy my car with me in it." And so he runs in front of our car and kind of runs to the other side of our car. So now we're kind of like in the middle of like keep away between the two of them. And the bull runs up to the side of our car in between two others and is bugling and yeah, snorting and bugling at him. And we just keep
Oh.
rolling forward. There's Parks Department people everywhere. There's people everywhere hanging out of their cars, forming this big perimeter. They're like watching the showdown, and we're just trying to get the hell out of there before our car is right in the middle of it.
Right.
And because this all happened so fast, I didn't get any of it on video. I so wish I had.
Oh,
We
dang it.
laughed all the way home about it. The look, I've never seen an animal, especially a big one like that, with such a emotion on his face. Like he knew he was screwed. Anyway, it was so funny. And but the poor parks people, you could see the stress on their faces, like somebody is going to get killed up in here. The
Yeah.
tourists were just closing in. It was
Oof.
the damnedest thing. But listening to him bugle, he bugled all the way out of town. He
Oh
was
my God.
letting this little dude know, get the hell away from my ladies. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, so funny. But
That's funny because we came through, I don't know what we were only
you're
about
like
30
20
minutes
minutes
ahead of
ahead of
you.
us, maybe.
And
Yeah.
we saw the cows, but we didn't
Mhm.
see the bulls. So that was just happening. That's crazy.
Uh-huh. We just happened to be in exactly the right place or wrong place at the
Yeah.
right time. But well, I
Oh,
saw a video of that bull over the weekend ram into the side of somebody's truck.
yeah, they
Beautiful,
will.
shiny, candy apple red pickup driving through town, and he just runs up behind it and just throws his horns, and he
Oh,
probably put a big
yeah.
dent in it. Yeah,
Oh,
he's really
golly.
being an asshole over there, but
Oh, that's funny. That's way funny.
yeah.
Donna, we're in southeastern Idaho. So we're just a couple of hours from the west entrance of Yellowstone.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's
yeah.
awesome. I love it when you get to see something like that happen.
Me too. He was sliding in, or so he thought. Oh, Jessica,
Yeah.
totally. And he was prancing along like he was the coolest thing. He was too cool for school.
Too
And
late,
maybe he
man.
thought all those ladies were there for him.
I'm thinking no. I'm thinking no. Yeah.
Yeah. You got
Wow.
to be a bigger boy than that to bring all the girls to the yard. But
Right.
oh, so
Oh, that's
funny.
pretty great. Well,
Anyway,
that's
back to crime.
yeah, back to crime. Uh, so that's what we know on the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie situation. And so we'll
Yeah.
continue to update you as things happen. We
Yeah.
do have a small update in the Jelani Day case. We just
Oh,
covered that. It just came out last night.
yeah.
Sadly, we showed a picture of the person of interest that the police were looking for. They have found and interviewed that person, and they are not related to the case at all. They were just out doing their job.
Yep.
So unfortunately, we're back to 0 leads on Jelani Day.
Yep. They put out a statement. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yep. And again, his family's like, why the hell? 6 days, 6 days
Yeah.
that we are looking for and hoping for this victim or this person. And this is the first they say of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they just
It's
found
just,
him, I
yeah.
don't know. But
Apparently,
unfortunately, that was all that we have so far in leads on Jelani Day.
the only thing we didn't share on Jelani because we didn't know about it is that there is a petition,
Oh, yes, there
a
is.
change.org petition to help express our concern over the way this case has been handled and ask for more involvement from the FBI, law enforcement, things like that. And so I'm going to share that for you guys. You can also just find it at change.org. It's called Justice for Jelani Day. So if you're
Okay.
interested, you can sign that here and see if that helps, further this case along. His
Yeah.
poor mama. Oh my gosh, that link is going to be too big.
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to just pull it over and make a bit.ly because
Okay.
for some reason you take these links off of Facebook and they're really big.
Yes.
And then YouTube will only let you post a comment that's certain, so long.
Oh, right.
And
And then it's too long.
so, yeah. So give me a second and I'll post that.
Okay.
But
So we'll get that. So, they're still asking people in Peru, Illinois to be keeping a close eye on what you've seen on your Ring cameras in the last, near the end of August. What if you remember seeing that car, that white 300, it's a fancy car. If you remember any of those things, to definitely be reporting them to the police.
yeah.
But there we go. There's the change.org petition for Jelani Day. We'll put that in the show description as well.
Yeah.
So if you're coming in after the fact, you can get that, because we certainly want to support Jelani's family as much as we can
Mm-hmm.
in assisting with getting justice for him.
Yep. There is also a public service for him coming up, I believe, on the 8th. And
Oh, yes.
they are going to be doing a balloon release, and it is open to the public to attend or at least spend a moment of silence that day for Jelani. So you can keep an eye on that. And we'll post more about that on Facebook too. We'll share his mom's post so that you
Yeah.
guys can see that in case you're interested in that as well. That's just a really hard one. So, so sad for their family. They've been through a lot here in the last month.
They certainly have. They certainly have. So whatever we can do to support.
Yeah.
So we also have just, I don't know if it's kind of an update and just some information. Katie, do you want to share a little bit about what's going on with the DNA
Yeah.
in
So,
the Daybell Vallow case?
okay. So a while ago, you might remember there were some fireworks in the courtroom because the state has some DNA evidence that is consumable, meaning that when they use it, when their expert tests it, it will test all of it. So
Yeah.
there won't be any left over for that to go to the prosecution's lab, should they choose to do that, to have it tested with their experts.
Yeah.
And so they kind of had to come together on how do we test this in a way that everybody benefits.
Which means,
So
by the way, that it's a really, really tiny sample.
there's not much.
No.
So there was a fight about that because basically the prosecution, the defense, or the prosecution, the state was like, hey, we have it scheduled, we're doing it. And the prosecution was like, well, you can't do that without us having something to do with it, because that's not fair to us. And the judge agreed with them and said that they would have to work out a system so that when those consumables are tested, that they could have their own expert in the room at the same time, so that they
Right.
could photograph, take video, whatever, to be a part of the scientific process there.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it's never happened. So now, and this is interesting, this is, I think, a little more info than we had before. On the affidavit, it says, While the state did initially seek to consumptively test what appears to be material that could possibly contain DNA on tools found in defendant Chad Daybell's shed and fingerprints for touch DNA on materials found wrapped around the body of the victim JJ Vallow. Now, before I go on with that, that is really interesting, because JJ was wrapped in duct tape. And
Right.
we had been saying all along there will be DNA on the duct tape. There
Yeah.
will be hair or
You can't
fingerprints or
use
skin.
DNA without it, really,
Yeah,
or use duct tape without it, and you can't use duct tape with gloves.
no. Yeah, if you're ever going to leave duct tape or DNA anywhere, it'll be on the damn duct tape, right? So,
Yeah.
anyway, so we thought that was really fascinating. But anyhow, so what they're saying now is they're going to not do that right now. They said the defendant Chad Daybell's wife, co-conspirator, co-defendant Lori Vallow Daybell's case is stayed pending competency proceedings. In the event any materials were to be consumptively tested and Lori Vallow Daybell did not have the opportunity to be heard regarding that testing, there is a risk that she could exclude that evidence from trial. Therefore, until the stay is lifted on trial or trial scheduling necessitates testing, the state will not seek to consumptively test any materials without stipulation from Lori Vallow Daybell's legal counsel.
Yeah.
So essentially, they're just saying, we're not doing it. We're just going to hold on to it and we're going to wait.
Yeah.
They do go on to say,
at this point.
yeah, they do say that they're happy to provide any and all lab records, reports, or documentation to the defense that is currently in their possession, but they, don't have these things done, and this is why.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah. Definitely good, because we don't want, if they've got touch DNA,
Mm-hmm.
that is super important evidence, because that tells you who wrapped up JJ's body.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitive,
Mm-hmm.
So we do not want that evidence to be thrown out. So I think it's wise at this point that they're doing. I feel like the prosecution in the Daybell Vallow case is being very prudent.
Mm-hmm.
And they're waiting, and they're, being super careful that they don't lose the ability to use any of the DNA that they have. And I really appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, they've been careful. They haven't been hasty. They've been careful to, how does Chad move forward without this? I mean, Chad's case isn't moving forward very fast either,
Well, and he
but
cannot go to trial without Lori at this point. Their
yeah.
cases are joined, and I mean that was one thing that came out of court last week was his defense can continue to prepare and file various things, but when it comes down to trial, Chad will not have a trial until Lori also has a trial, unless they sever these cases. And boy, I don't think they want to.
No, they do not. It's going to be way too expensive. Now, next Tuesday and Wednesday are the days set aside for them to fight it out in court about moving the case.
Yeah.
So, Kristi, I know that you have some thoughts on that.
I do. I have it on pretty good authority.
Mm-hmm.
That Ada County, which is who we had figured they would try to move to Ada County. It's the biggest county by population in the state, that they would want to move the case there. Well, I have it on pretty good authority that Ada County is going to say, nah. So here's the problem. Fremont County is a tiny little county. It is a little town, a couple little towns, and some farm ground, and like Island Park. Like they don't have a lot of money. And this is a multi-million-dollar trial. And Ada County knows that Fremont County cannot pay them to run this trial.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that they can do that. Like they can't afford it. And I don't know all the rules around this, but what I understand is that a county can be expected to pay another county to run a trial,
Mm-hmm.
and a county can say no if that can't happen. That may be overturned in a decision from a judge. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm hearing is much more likely to happen is that a jury will be sequestered and brought in
Mm-hmm.
for this case rather than moving it, because they're going to run in the problem is they're going to run into the same problem in every county.
Right.
I mean, a trial of this magnitude, this is not stuff that happens in Idaho. These
No.
these courts do not have the kind of budget to run this. We don't know
No.
exactly what's going to happen, who is going to end up paying. At some point, some money is going to have to be allocated to just pay for the trial. Therefore, they do not want to split them because
Yeah.
nobody wants to pay for two of these trials, let alone one.
Yep.
No, Chad and Lori will not be sitting together because they are represented by different attorneys, so they will be sitting with their attorneys. But
Good
it's
night, Donna.
good night, Donna. Thanks for joining us. But it is something really to consider. It wasn't. I had a source share some information with me, which I really hadn't considered the financial side of this.
Yeah.
And considering Little Fremont County and how they're going to pay, I don't know how they're going to pay.
Yeah.
And it's true that the other counties around them can't pay for this either. And moving to a bigger jury pool, it may not answer the question. So it's very possible that the trial will not move, but that a sequester jury will be brought in.
Yeah.
Again, a very interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I imagine we're going to see all this argued in court next week.
Yeah. So, and I was just pulling up the briefs for court next week to double check the times, and discovered that there's also court in the morning at 10 a.m. So we'll be here with that. Yeah, there's a status conference.
Oh, another step. And we may not get anything out of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're kind of boring, but we'll still
Doing
stream
those
it.
behind closed doors all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's so funny because I got up this morning and had a notification on my phone that from my calendar that there was Daybell court today. I was like, really? And I went and looked in their docket and I didn't see anything and went, that must have been something old that got moved. Well, it's not today. It's tomorrow. Yeah, no more closed doors. I'm with you, GB. I'm sick to death of it.
Tired of it.
Yeah.
How is this serving the public good? I just don't think it is.
No, it is not. But then next week, court is scheduled for 9 a.m. both days. That's 9 a.m. Mountain Time.
Yeah.
On the 5th and on the 6th.
So we're going to stream it. We may not be live with it the whole time. We may just be streaming and we'll come in and out. I don't know how we're going to do that exactly, but
yeah, something like that.
We get to watch it.
Yeah, that's going to be some interesting stuff.
It is. It is. And I think we're going to see all of this stuff, who's going to pay for this. And of course, what Mr. Pryor, Chad Daybell's attorney, has to prove is that there is, undue prejudice if the cases are joined. I have a little trouble seeing how he could prove that because the evidence against them is the same.
Right.
So where's the prejudice really?
Yeah. Well, they're not arguing the joinder, right?
Oh, that's right. They're not arguing
it's
the joinder.
It's just change of venue.
Change of venue, but it's the same thing. It's undue prejudice in the community.
Yeah.
Which we know they've, got all kinds of information about how much media coverage this case has had locally. And, there's a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah. Well, we know what.
Who's going to pay for this?
Right. The defense has been trying. I mean, as we know, they've had two different agencies that we know of, polling the audience around here, trying to see, to prove some prejudice. But also, you may remember that back in May or June, that they tried to subpoena East Idaho News.
Yes.
And East Idaho News and Nate and, East Idaho News really stood their ground and said, no, that's illegal. And then a big journalism Journalists Guild got involved and put their lawyers on the job, and it really kind of went national. And basically, the question is, can journalists be subpoenaed to testify? If they do, it is very hard on their careers because now they're witnesses and they can't report.
Right.
And at any rate, basically what happened is they kind of made a deal. So the prosecution withdrew that subpoena, or sorry, the defense withdrew that subpoena, and East Idaho News agreed to provide them with some demographics.
Yeah.
It's kind of what
Which is really what they wanted anyway. They wanted to know,
Mhm.
and what I've heard is that they kind of buried them in information as far as the demographics that they gave them, that it's
keeps
like
happening.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of stuff that, the demographics of their viewership and, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine Dateline or 48 Hours on the stand? Of course not.
No,
Because their
absolutely.
attorneys would go to town with that. But I
Yeah.
think they thought they could bully a smaller, news station into doing that, but they stood their ground.
They did.
Which, by the way, Nate Eaton, you guys, posted the funniest thing on Facebook a couple of days ago.
Yes, he did.
So apparently he has little kids, and apparently his kids messed around with his phone and somehow managed to change the way when he calls people, the way his name comes up. And this has apparently been ongoing for a couple of years, and he thought he had.
Yeah, I think it's his caller ID, because you can change your caller ID name.
Yes. And so when people call, when he calls people, the way his name comes up, he said he's got it fixed, except for some Android phones it still shows up this way. But he's calling people, and the caller ID says "boo boo butt." So apparently, in the last week, he has called both a sheriff and an attorney, who the caller ID said "boo boo butt." He said he called the sheriff, who answered the phone, "Boo boo butt. Who's this?" Can you believe that?
So funny. We love Nate Eaton. He's done such a great job on the Daybell Vallow case, but that is so funny.
So he was begging for help on Facebook. How the hell do I fix this? Because it's not good. And then the attorney, so it really makes you wonder if he talked to Mark Means, because the attorney asked him if he had changed that for just him and his phone because he was mad at him.
That's
no,
funny.
Apparently not. Yeah.
We do sometimes go on site and do psychic work for cases, yes,
Mhm.
on cold cases occasionally.
Yeah.
And, things are local to us, obviously.
Yeah. Well, something that it has occurred to me with the Gabby and Brian Laundrie case, he'll be coming back to Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
That, if there is ever a trial and he's ever caught, that will be happening in our backyard. Yeah,
it will.
So we'll be probably around.
They're going to be running into the same darn problem there in Teton County, Wyoming, as the Daybells are running in, as the Daybell Vallow case is causing here. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Moly. Yeah, we'll get to take you guys on a field trip of Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Sure. Hey, I'll go to Jackson whenever. It's a fun place to visit.
Take these guys to the Jackson Hole, Wyoming cemetery.
Ooh, we should.
Which is one of the coolest cemeteries I have
and
ever
to eat at the Mary Piglet,
to.
because they had the Mary Piglet's is a Mexican restaurant in Jackson, famous. Famous place, and we love to eat there. And apparently, Brian and Gabby ate there, and Brian's behavior was really awful there.
And
really scared a hostess there, like really upset someone who was working there by his behavior.
Gabby left in tears, and apparently he left and then marched back in to yell at them again 2 more times.
Yeah, apparently they've spoken with the FBI on that. Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, that's a place we've eaten tons of times. We'll take you there, and you can see all the cute pig murals on the walls.
That's a really neat little place. I know. I was sick when I saw that video. I'm like, what? That's a Mary. Oh, right. I was mad. Now I'm furious. My God, Brian. Yeah.
Brood and the Mary Piglets. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll, if we get to that point with that, we will have some opportunities
Yeah.
to head over the mountain and do some live streaming for you guys.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Or some streaming that we upload later because the internet there is real bad.
Not great,
But
yeah, but
yeah.
we'll definitely be able to get some stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that is everything we've got for updates.
Yeah.
We will be back tomorrow. Oh,
Yeah.
everyone wants a field trip. We'll take you there. We will be
Yeah.
back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Mountain. I keep saying the time wrong, I realize. It's 8 p.m. Mountain
Right.
through the fall so that we can go be football ants. Uh, and it will be the psychic update. So that is tomorrow night. And of course, we've got some great new cases this week. We covered
Yeah.
Lauren Cho, we covered Jelani Day, and we
I
covered,
know.
oh, I'm blanking. What was our MMIW?
It was, oh my gosh, you're contagious. It was Rita Jaramillo.
Oh, Rita Jaramillo, right. Yes, so please check all of those out.
Yeah.
Do we think Dog the Bounty Hunter is close on his trail? I mean, I
No.
still am not so sure that he's in the reserve where the FBI is looking. So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't have a very clear picture of him, to be perfectly honest.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how's our nephew's team doing? They're actually doing quite well.
They are.
And he is learning to be the center and has started snapping the ball in the game and doing a
Hmm.
really good job.
Oh, you
So
guys, last week he got a penalty for blocking the back, and we laughed so hard because
was so psyched. He was really excited
yeah,
about a
which I
penalty.
mean, you don't want a penalty, but he hasn't gotten to play very much. And he's only a second year player playing on a freshman team. So he's catching up to kids that have played for a long time. And the fact that he like got in there and he actually, well, what he did was so wild because he was the center. So he snapped the ball. He pancaked the kid in front of him, which made a lane for the quarterback to run 30 yards. And that wasn't good enough for him. Then he jumped up and ran another kid down and knocked him down and got a block in the back. So the ball came back, which was a little
Whatever
sad.
that means, I
But
don't know. Go
uh,
sports ball.
yeah,
I go to
well,
support Jack. I don't know football at
it
all.
means he shouldn't have done that second thing, but he was so charged up. He was so excited that he got to play. He
Yeah.
also made it on defense, made it to the quarterback and forced him to throw away the ball. So he had some good
Yeah.
stuff, and it was fun. It was super fun
Yeah.
to see him.
It's fun. So we like
Yeah,
going to watch him.
yeah,
So we'll be back tomorrow night at 8 Mountain, not 7 Mountain.
yes.
Thank you
And we'll be back at
all.
10 in the morning for
Yes.
yet another belligerent turd circus with the
Yes.
Daybells.
And we'll see if there's anything decent to share.
Yeah.
So, in the meantime, thank you all so much for being here. Well, you know it. We are True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Take care, guys.